Hello, hello.
Good
Check.
morning, all. Sorry for the delay, but we'll start in next 5 minutes. Good morning, everyone. A very warm welcome to the India Research Tour 2025, organized by Springer Nature India in collaboration with Ministry of Education and the Indian Council of Social Science Research. I am Sadhgur, Associate Business Development Manager, and it's an honor to host this inspiring initiative that celebrates research, innovation, and academic collaboration across India. The India Research Tour 2025 brings together scholars, researchers, innovators across leading institutions, fostering open access, strengthening scientific collaborations, and building a more inclusive research ecosystem. We are truly delighted to be here today at Indian Statistical Institute, Kolkata, one of India's most prestigious research institutions. Known for its excellence in statistics, mathematics, computer science, and interdisciplinary research that continues to shape India's academic landscape. Once again, I welcome you all to India Research Tour 2025 at Indian Statistical Institute, Kolkata. To invoke knowledge, wisdom, and positivity, may I now invite our dignitaries on stage for the lighting of the lamp ceremony. From Springer Nature, I would like to invite Mr. Venkatesh Sarvasiddhi, Managing Director, Springer Nature India, Debraj Mehta, Licensing Manager, Institutional Sales, Springer Nature India, Mr. Prateek Dongre, Head of Research Cross Journal Team, from ICSSR, Sri Naresh Seni, DCFO, ICSSR, and from ISI Calcutta, I would like to invite Professor Deepti P. Mukherjee, Deputy Director ISI, and Professor Biswa Brata Pradhan, the Dean of Science ISI Kolkata. Thank you all for joining in this auspicious beginning. To mark the beginning of this meaningful collaboration, I would now like to invite Mr. Venkatesh Sarvasiddhi, Managing Director, Springer Nature India, to symbolically present the rolling trophy to Professor Deepti P. Mukherjee, Deputy Director, ISI, representing our shared vision and continued partnership in advancing research and education. I would request our dignitaries to be on stage as we continue the felicitation as a showcase of gratitude and our partnership to Indian Statistical Institute, Calcutta. Before we move ahead, we are also delighted to introduce a special initiative, the Book Baton. I request Mr. Venkatesh Sarvasiddhi to kindly present the book baton to Professor Dipti P. Mukherjee, Deputy Director, ICSSR. This symbolic baton will travel with us across all institutions, collecting your thoughts and suggestions on how we can further strengthen India's research ecosystem. These insights will later be presented to the Ministry of Education as part of this collaborative journey. Your voices truly matter. So please take a moment during the event to share your ideas in the book baton and help shape the future of research in our country. May I now request Professor Dipti P. Mukherjee, Deputy Director, ISI Kolkata, to deliver the inaugural address.
Good morning. It's a great pleasure for me to welcome you all to the India Research Tour 2025 initiated by Springer with the active cooperation from the Ministry of Education and also ICSSR. All these three entities are very well known to all of us, all of my colleagues here at ISI. I especially would like to extend a warm welcome to the visitors today who have come from Springer and ICCSSR and Ministry of Education in particular. I saw the catch line. I like the catch line. And the catch line is science needs stats. So I think also reverse is true. Stats need science. And probably this is the institute which proves that both way it is the best in this country. And over the years, through our publications, through our research contributions, we have amply proved that ISI is a place where stat needs science and science needs stat. Just to update our colleagues from those who came from outside the ISI, we have 7 scientific research divisions in the institute, and that includes, of course, the key division, statistics mathematics division. Other than that, we have computer science division, we have social sciences division, we have physics and art sciences division, we have biological sciences division, and also we have the statistical quality control and operation research division, which is one of its kind, which is unique to this entire country, and we all are proud of their achievements. ISI, as especially those who are the first time in the campus today, uh, I think I'll be glad to update that this is an unique institute. Unique in the sense that unlike the IIT or IIM system, this institute came out from the initiative from a single person. It is the intellectual contribution the entrepreneurship of that person who is always with us, Professor Prashanta Chandra Mahalanobis, whose uh, whose thoughts and actions are for which we are proud today. Finally, I would like to just reiterate our long-standing collaboration with Springer. Our journals are hosted by our well-known, well-reputed journal. Shankha is hosted by the Springer for um, quite a few years now, and its reach is ever expanding in that field. Other than that, we have uh, multiple, at least one or two agreements through which our faculty members, students can have scholarly publications through Springer. And I think this initiative, even though it's a pan-India initiative involving maybe 29, 30 institutes all over country, I think my colleagues in this institute, our students can take advantage of this engagement and will initiate research publications, research engagement with Springer, and hopefully we'll see many fruitful contributions from this kind of initiative. With this, thank you once again, and especially those who are coming outside these from the campus. I welcome them. I see some of our colleagues who are recently superannuated. I'm delighted to welcome them in this campus, and thank you. Good morning once again.
Thank you so much, sir, for setting such an inspiring tone for today's event. We are truly honored by your presence. It is now my pleasure to invite Professor Gopal Krishna Basak from the Theoretical Statistics and Mathematics Unit to share a few words of welcome.
It's a great pleasure to welcome you all. Actually, it was nice to see that under the auspices of Ministry of Education, ICSSR, and with Springer Nature, this research, India Research to 2025, is being arranged here. And we know that we have been actually using in collaborating with the Springer, we have started publishing 2000 from 2010 onwards our research our research journal Shankha series A and B, and I have been personally involved in some capacity as an editor from of Shankha uh, for a term here of 3 years. So we worked with Springer throughout for that period, and it was really it was quite frank collaboration, I would say. We had some decision to make. We had to talk through them. So it is again great pleasure to see you again here, and with the publication team. Now I have now a few things to say about that. Our researchers are very prolific, I would say. uh, I have looked through the annual report for last few years, and it turns out that in last 2023-24, we had something like more than 500 journal publication, and out of which Springer about less than about 15 to 20% of the journal probably coming out of Springer publication from there. So if you take last 5 years journal publication also, so that would be around 2,600, around about that much. We may not get everything reported in annual reports or something sometimes, but in any case, so if we estimate something like that, so that also is about Springer's publications coming through from there also. about some groups actually publishes less, some group publishes more in Springer, some groups in the sense of idea of specializations that way. So about 15-20% I would put that way. But book publication, what we do last 5 years, it is more than 80. Okay. So so out of that, Springer probably have done more than 50% or around that publication. So that was quite good collaboration, I would think that. And book chapters also, Springer have substantial of that, about 25% of the book chapters what we have published. And also about the conference proceedings, of course, is not as much. Probably it's much lesser than about less than probably 15-20%, I would say. So this is the figure of collaboration, collaborative things what we do in the with the Springer. It's actually the I have checked also the best ranked journals of Springers. So which are more or less actually still I would say some of the society run journals are still on top of many fields. So however, Springer has actually has been actually I have a list of them. If you allow me to read a few of them, you know better, but my colleagues also can tell you all in a way. Just 1 second. Yes. Uh, one search is saying the Journal of High Energy Physics, run by Springer or published by Springer. That's a top rank, one of the top ranked journal in physics. Medicine Diabetologia, that's one of the top ranked. Journal of Molecular Evolution, that's one of the top ranked. Theoretical Applied Genetics, that's one of the top ranked. Journal of Finance, that's actually one of the top ranked. But I know that JFE, Journal of Financial Economics, Review of Financial Studies, which are not Springer, but they are also very, very top journals in that field. So, so there are. This is quite nice to see that how Springer actually is enhancing our research side in various ways, directly or indirectly. Now, I would just mention, just in a brief 1 or 2 moment, I mean, basically, there are open sources. Springer is, I mean, lot of publications actually now we talk about open access facilities, charging the authors or I mean for that. Now our country actually came out with the One Nation One subscription, so under which lot of publications actually are publishers are signed for that agreement. And I would assume that some of these things Springer would carry from there, from our view, etc., to that to those agreements are going to be like that. But one thing I should mention that there are a lot of open access things what we submit in archives.org, for example, SSRN, and then PubMed. So a lot of these things are actually we submit the journals before publications. So they have been a standing, I mean, resources for us even before the publication. So a lot of students actually look through those archives and get their actually the up to date what are the research going on, because some of the journal publication takes a long time to come out. So that's why those archive resources actually has been very proved to be very fruitful for the researchers, especially the students who are doing the cutting edge research here. So, so some of the things, even if it is open access, since it is peer review taking the long time, so you may think about that, what to do about that if you wanted to compete with the stable archive type of things, or if not competition, what to do in the future, how to get access for the students in that way to the as soon as possible the cutting edge research is coming out. Now, another just one thing that I would say that to think about it for future, how long these peer reviewed journals would last, whether their AI review journal would be coming up rather than peer reviewed. So let's think about that way and see what to do in future. I thank you all for coming and welcome you all for going for the next session. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your thoughtful and encouraging words. We are truly appreciate your perspective and your warm welcome to all present here. To share the vision of Springer Nature India, I now invite Mr. Venkatesh Sarvasiddhi, Managing Director, Springer Nature India, leading the company's business operations and driving advocacy for open science and the research technology ecosystem in India. With leadership experience at Microsoft, Deloitte, and NSTC, he has been instrumental in advancing innovation, digital skills, and open science in India. An alumni of BITS Pilani, IIM Calcutta, and King's College London. He is also a recipient of several national and international awards for his contribution to education and technology.
Good morning, everyone. First of all, it's a lovely opportunity for us at Springer Nature, me as an individual, to be here at one of the institution which not only stands out in India, but also has shaped the global ecosystem when it comes to mathematics and statistics. And I think from its inception in 1931, December 17th, I believe, yeah. So the contribution of this institution is towards building nation, developing the best of the people in the area of statistics and mathematics, and of course now in across multi-disciplines you offer PhDs. um, so before we start, I think we should all give a big round of applause to uh, late Dr. Prashanta Chandra Mahapolis. He's the one who has set up this institution, and because of his vision, we stand where we are as a country in mathematics and statistics area. In fact, one of his students whom he mentored, uh, Dr. Srinivas Vardhan, Srinivasa Vardhan, he is an winner of the Abel Prize. And that's a great moment. Abel Prize is an equivalent of an Nobel Prize in area of mathematics and statistics. Big round of applause for him. That's an Indo-American a very well-known personality, and of course, many people, including Dr. Amartya Sen, who is again a Nobel Prize winner. He spent a lot of time here, even though he's not an alumni, but I was told that he spent a lot of time in shaping this institution. And so as other prominent people, I think the list is so long. Dr. C.R. Rao is a very prestigious alumni of this institution. It has many, many people. And thanks to the institution and the management, especially the Deputy Director, Dr. Deepthi Prasad Mukherjee, sir, thank you so much for giving us this opportunity to host us and being there. And we at Springer Nature will certainly try our level best to make sure that the researchers in this ecosystem are well equipped with all the things that are required to publish and help you in the processes, and maybe conduct whatever sessions, forums, discussions to understand the needs, to understand areas where we can improve, and also see how we can contribute. That's always our main goal. This India Research Tour 2025 in partnership with Ministry of Education, also supported by ICSSR. We have officials of ICSSR at every place. Thanks to ICSSR for their active collaboration. Is a tour primarily to empower research and the research ecosystem in the country. We are on a crazy drive. We are actually traveling by road on a bus, because that's where I feel we can understand the real India, meet the real people, understand the grassroots level problems. So it started on 6th of October and will be ending this on 13th of November. In this process, we are covering 7 states, 17 cities, and close to 29 events like this, spread across 40 days, traveling on the bus. In fact, I take a commitment personally to be there in every institution, so which I could do it till now and not missing one. So we are going to end our trip in Arunachal Pradesh, in Itanagar. So till then, our journey is primarily to meet researchers, understand the best things that they are doing, at the same time see where are the things where we can learn, improve, and also debate on interesting conversation, strike interesting conversations, whether it's on open access, research integrity, or diversity, equity, inclusion, in making sure science is more accessible to everyone. So this is it. I think very happy to be here. I always dreamt of doing my bachelor's from here. I couldn't make it through ISI. It's one of the toughest institutions. In fact, much tougher than IIT. For all the people who are here, I think you should take the pride of being here. And it's a great moment in whatever way you are associated with this institution. In fact, with that dream, I had done my PhD in economics under a supervisor who is an alumni of ISI. So I know how tough it is to get through it because the quality, what they bring in, the rigor they bring in is extremely good. And it's pleasure. And once again, it's a beautiful moment for us, all of us being here. Thank you so much. Take care.
Thank you, sir, for your insightful words and for your efforts in transforming India's research ecosystem. Next, we have the keynote address by Sri Naresh Seni, DCFO ICSSR. We now come to one of the most inspiring segments of today's event, the felicitation of women researchers, the Her Research Our Future initiative by Springer Nature. This campaign celebrates women's remarkable contributions to science, technology, and academia and aims to promote gender equality in research by highlighting their innovative work and leadership. Today, we proudly recognize 5 women researchers from ISI Kolkata for their outstanding achievement. May I now invite our dignitaries from Springer Nature, Mr. Venkatesh Sarvasiddhi, Managing Director, Springer Nature India, to join us on stage for the felicitation of the women scholars. First, I would like to invite Professor Neena Gupta, Theoretical Statistics and Mathematics Unit. Dr. Sumana Ghosh, Electronics and Communication Science Unit. Professor Farzana Afridi, Economics and Planning Unit. Dr. Minerva Mukherjee, Interdisciplinary Statistical Research Unit. Dr. Suparna Mandal Biswas, Agricultural and Ecological Research Unit. We now begin with our first workshop of the day, Open Access, conducted by Ms. Priya Sharma, Associate Editor, BMC.
Hello and good morning, everyone. I am Priya Sharma, Associate Editor from BMC Series. It is indeed a very good opportunity to talk to you all. We all know that without statistics, there's no significance for a paper. And there has been many instances where we end up rejecting articles if there's no statistical analysis or a very good statistical study has not been done. So it is a great opportunity to talk to you all and also introducing you to the open access journals that are there under the Springer Nature portfolio. In BMC series, we have a lot of journals. When we talk about BMC, BMC is divided into four different verticals. One is BMC series, which has several journals, including flagships and other series related journals. There are academic journals. Um, what is the difference between a series journal and academic journal? Anything which has a BMC tag to it is a series journal, whereas another journals where in the title of the journal, if BMC is not mentioned, but it is under the portfolio, are also BMC academic journals. And there are flagship journals as well, which are slightly different, but also having a huge impact factor. So, coming to this institute, it is really important that I talk about a few BMC journals where there is an opportunity for researchers to publish. But there are other opportunities as well where the researchers can be a part as our reviewers, as our editorial board members, and also collaborate with us on collections and other articles like call for papers. So, moving ahead, let me first introduce about BMC. This year, BMC has completed 25 years in open access publishing. And if we talk about how BMC has been publishing and what are the different areas in which we are publishing. So this year, since we are celebrating 25 years, we are also the first commercial open access publisher globally. We have pioneered open review practices. We have championed data sharing and refused to promote and reuse, reuse data sharing as well. And we promote a lot of transparency in our peer review processes. BMC is established itself to be a supportive and inclusive, trusted, and a community focused publisher. When we talk about inclusive, we do not talk about impact factors or novelty. We talk about incremental advance. And that is why it is called as inclusive. So BMC majorly focus on being inclusive, and it is a platform where you can publish incremental advance researches, and you can also publish negative data sets. So we are open to all these kind of journals, and all there are several journals where you can publish purely statistical datas. Our strength and breadth. We are a home to 300 journals in life science, health, and applied sciences. And since I came to know that Indian Statistical Institute has several different verticals, majorly interdisciplinary sciences, biological sciences, social sciences, and BMC publishes in all these verticals. So there is a great opportunity where you all can also be a part of the BMC journals. There are more than 100 of our journals in JCRQ1, and 200 of our journals are indexed in Clarivate. Our journals aim to offer home for all researchers, journals that publish groundbreaking studies, as I mentioned. But the main and most important part in our publishing scenario is to publish a technically sound and scientifically robust research. So we do not, in any case, take any data which is not robust or not statistically significant that we can publish. Even though we are open access, that doesn't mean that we'll publish everything. And we support our communities. We support open research by publishing a diverse array of article types. It could be research methodology, it could be data outputs, it can be registered reports, there are research notes, there are methods, and we also publish review articles and case reports and so on. We continue to expand our journals based on our needs and launching new journals as well, depending on the scientific areas where the Indian community publishes and what is the global trend going on. We plan to expand more with our journals. Uh, we support sustainable development goals, and there are several journals which are majorly focused on sustainable development related goals and the emerging trends and such as artificial intelligence. So we are publishing a lot of articles, and we have several call for papers in different journals which are publishing artificial intelligence related researches. BMC is an attractive destination for Indian researchers, and I would say why. So, we are partnering with Indian based researchers and authors and also editorial board members. So, I take this opportunity to share a bit about the editorial board member policies and other several things that BMC has. BMC series, not many of you might be knowing, provides country specific pricing. That is, whatever the open access charges are there, it is 25% of the total price that you pay if you publish with BMC series. And mind you, I'm talking about BMC series. And apart from that, if you are a senior editorial board member with BMC, there are waivers that are given to editorial board members. There are also opportunities for people to publish commissioned articles where they can publish for any call for papers. And apart from that, we also have a policy where waivers are given if the articles are really, really good and needs a good platform and an open platform to publish. So when we talk about BMC series journals and the journals that are specifically of interest to the Statistical Institute, I would say a few of them are BMC research notes, BMC research methodologies, and there is a BMC bioinformatics, there is BMC agricultural sciences, BMC public health, BMC health science and researches. All these journals focus on different areas. The sociology part of it, you can publish with BMC Public Health and BMC Health Science and Research. If you are working in the biological background, you can publish in bioinformatics, agriculture. You can publish in several survey-based studies that are there. Can be published in pediatrics, geriatrics, women's health, nutrition, and you name it, and we have a journal to support your article. Moving on, there's a very popular community-based journal which is now getting lots of citation, and this is from Population and Health Matrices. And it is being now already cited 18 times in 2025, and we are looking forward for more citations for this article. So here in BMC, we are working with the Indian community. There are more than 1,400 Indian-based editorial board members that are supporting our journals. And we would request that a more collaboration comes in from Statistical Institute as well, where we have we see great researchers here, great minds, and why are they not a part of our editorial board? So we are looking forward to collaborate with you on that. Moving ahead, BMC series is also now launching a new website, making it more user interactive and easy to upload your papers. And if you are as an editorial board member, there are several interactive sessions where you can be trained accordingly how to be an editorial board member, how to maybe assess an article as an editor, and also it is a very new and has great content, and also will be very easy for you to navigate through the website. So as you can see, this is a page from BMC Public Health, and how does it look, how interactive it can be. Maybe you can go back and explore few of them. Moving on, BMC journals are home for your research. So here I am showcasing few handful of them where certain call for papers are there. But I would also like to mention there are call for papers for certain other journals where specifically to name few, in BMC Medical Research Methodology, a collection has been launched for impact of AI on medical research, where we are calling for papers. Apart from that, there is BMC Medical Research Methodology, where it talks about impact of social media and medical research. BMC Research Methodology Collections, the role of qualitative and mixed methods. So I see a lot of articles that come to us are based on mixed method studies, Bayesian randomization studies, and so many other statistical terms. To be very honest, I'm not very familiarized with, because me being from a biological background, we need good statisticians to look into it. So here comes the role of reviewers, especially who are having a very good understanding of the statistical part, where we can get in some good inputs from the reviewers. And also, if you would want to publish with us, as I mentioned that BMC is currently having a country specific pricing, you can go onto the website of the journal that you want to publish with, and you can submit your articles. And if your article gets accepted, you also get a country specific discount for it. There is another journal, majorly BMC Agriculture and Ecology, which is also a budding journal, and it also has several new collections, and call for papers are there where you can publish with us. So uh, I think that's about it, and I am here for a few more hours. And if anyone would want to collaborate or would want to discuss something more with me, I'm ready to interact. Thank you.
I would now like to invite Ms. Ishita Paul, Associate Editor, Scientific Reports, to take this segment forward.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us today. So, thank you, Dr. Priya, for introducing us to the open access and Springer's legacy. I would like to take it further by introducing you to Scientific Reports, which is Nature Portfolio's largest open access journal. But before that, a quick introduction. I am Ishita Paul. I am from Kolkata, and being born and brought up here, it's my great pleasure today to be here in one of the most prominent and rigorous institutes of Kolkata and represent my journal at this stage. So, after my PhD and postdoc, I joined as an in house editor for Scientific Reports with Springer. And it is a journal where volume speaks. We just to give you an idea about the volume, last year we published around 30,000 original research. So you can understand the volume. It is simply our mission is to democratize science, and we want to amplify research from every corner. So moving forward, we are a multidisciplinary and broad scope journal. We publish across disciplines like natural sciences, psychology, medicine, and engineering. Like Priya said, we are also an inclusive journal, meaning we break the tradition of publishing only selected studies with high impact, but we would also like to publish incremental advance, where the science is solid and technology or methodology is robust and reproducible. We happily welcome negative or null results, and we also welcome scientifically justified replication studies. As one of our author puts it, our interdisciplinary and broad open access platform helps to collaborate and foster collaborations, bringing in diverse perspective and driving innovation. Now, when we speak of volume, we also speak of quality, and we want to be editorially rigorous as well. We follow the same editorial policy and same publication standards as the rest of the portfolio. We also ensure robust peer review for our authors and the editors, as well as we ensure that the peer review is helpful in improving the manuscript in terms of clarity and readability. We have a huge team of expert academic and in house editors, and you'd be glad to know some of these editors are also from your institute. We have a team of 15,000 editorial board members across 120 discipline, and the scope and the breadth of their expertise actually reflect the diversity of the submissions that we receive at our scale. We also have a very small team of in-house editors in Pune now, and they are constantly working on developing and implementing scalable workflows to improve the author's experience as well as improve the evaluation process so that we can reduce the turnaround time and we can improve the evaluation, make publication more efficient and easier with us. Now, as I mentioned, at Scientific Reports, we do not judge papers based on robustness or its perceived impact or significance. We let the scientific community decide the significance of the work. We also support our authors by providing first editorial decisions. Usually, it average 3 weeks, you will get your first editorial decision. We also help the authors by maximizing visibility through our open access platform. You will often see papers which are published in scientific reports are highly cited, not only in academics but also in public policies and patent documentations. We also focus a lot on publishing articles which have a which has impact, societal impact, and we focus on publishing SDG related contents. At the moment, Scientific Report publishes the highest volume of Springer Nature's sustainable development related contents. So, why I'm telling all this, I would like to bring your attention to what we are doing at India and how we are supporting the Indian research community. So in last 2 years, we have seen significant increase in the submissions from Indian research, and in this year only, in the first half, we have an impressive increase in the number of publications from India. We have publications from eminent Indian institutes. We also have publications from Indian Statistical Institute, mostly in the field of disease detection or multi-omics data integration, chaotic systems. And these are all mainly supported by our India based editors, editorial board members. You can see almost 14% of our editorial board members are in India. Also, half of our in house editorial team is Pune. So, we have a good presence in India. And the publications from India are also highly cited. Here are a few examples. So, what we are lacking at the moment is the average acceptance rate from India is little below than our average acceptance rate, and we also want to improve our subject specific submissions. From India, we mostly have physical sciences and engineering based publications. So, at the moment, I would like to leave you here with our plans for India and what we are trying to do. As part of our ongoing initiative, we are reaching to the local editorial board. We are taking suggestions from them to improve submissions overall and in subject specific areas. We are helping our research scholar by arranging helpful seminars by telling them how to craft strong publishable manuscripts, and we are also having a huge number of collection. I'm sure many of you will find areas of interest which aligns with those collections. So our aim is to foster collaboration and is to showcase the Indian research on a global stage. And I would like to take this opportunity to welcome your collaboration not only as part of authors or but also as part of our editorial board member, where you can of course explore a lot of opportunities regarding APC waivers and discounts. You can also have a strong network because we have editors community. We have a strong editorial site where we post often regularly several support documents about the recent research trends. And at the end, we are hoping that we would get more submission in the areas of interdisciplinary areas because Scientific Reports is known for that. So I'd like to end my talk with the hope that in the coming future, scientific reports will be able to foster collaboration and will be able to make the Indian research more visible. And I am here if you would like to discuss immediately or afterwards. Please feel free to reach us or communicate through an email. So thank you all for being here and thank you so much. Oh, sorry. I'd like to just take one small moment to. I'd let my colleagues do it, but I'd like to also tell you that we also have scientific data where you can submit your data sets and you can let the other researchers use your data. Or if you have any preliminary result, you can. We also have a stepwise publication method, so you can think about that, and I'll let my colleagues to do more about it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Priya and Ms. Ishita, for sharing your valuable insights and guiding our researchers through the world of global publishing opportunities and open access. Moving ahead, we now have a dedicated session on ONOS conducted by Ms. Bikashita Bhattacharya, Manager, Public Policy and Outreach.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Bikoshita Bhattacharya, Manager Public Policy and Outreach, and I'm going to speak about the One Nation, One Subscription scheme. As you all know, the One Nation, One Subscription scheme has been approved by the Government of India so that there is countrywide access to international high impact scholarly journals and publications to students, faculty members, and researchers of all higher education institutions managed by the central government, state governments, and research and development institutions of the central government. So, this entire presentation is about how Springer Nature is maximizing the impact of One Nation, One Subscription, the positive impact of One Nation, One Subscription across the country, and how, as researchers, you can use the scheme to its fullest. As you can see on the screen, the overall coverage for institutions has gone beyond 7,000, which consists of campus and login based access. The total number of users has crossed 98 lakhs, of which students have a huge percentage of more than 96 lakhs. There are several benefits associated with it. First, there are increased number of users, be it faculty, students, or researchers, which has crossed 200%. There are increased number of beneficiary institutions and increased number of journal titles. And as a result, there has been a wider access to journals by each user. When it comes to before and after One Nation, One Subscription, there's about 250% increase in the number of colleges accessing these high impact scholarly journals. There's a phase-wise implementation when it comes to ONOS. There's a central fund of rupees 150 crore per year for supporting the article processing charges of selected good quality journals and also discounts on APCs as much as possible for Indian authors. The three phases include first, for the first 3 years, phase 1, the plan is to merge all library consortia and bring in more institutions. The second phase including private academic institutions through a public-private partnership model. And the third phase aims to give universal access to designated access points at public libraries. Now, the coverage of Springer Nature journals under the One Nation, One Subscription scheme. So, as one of the world's leading publishers, Springer Nature has the most influential journals, and Springer Nature is also pioneer in the field of open research. So, across all the portfolio of journals that we have, we cover a range of disciplines of emerging topics and some of the most important discoveries of the generation. As I said, that we are a pioneer in the field of open research. You can see that the hybrid-based journals constitute 95% compared to the very minor percentage for subscription-based journals. Going beyond rankings, Springer Nature had the most journals in the top 50 journals by impact factor and citation. As one of the world's leading publishers, We believe in advancing sustainable development goals, and hence, in the last 10 years, more than 940,000 articles and chapters related to SDGs have been published. We also have a rigorous peer review process, and there are more than 1 million independent peer reviewers. There are many Nobel Prize winners contributing to Springer Nature, and Springer Nature had the highest number of journals ranked in Web of Science. When it comes to usage performance, as you can see from January to July 2025, when you compare 2024 and 2025, that is before and after ONOS, there has been a consistent increase in the usage, out of which Springer has the largest number of imprints, followed by Nature journals. When it comes to usage by groups like the institutions, these are all IITs, state universities, central universities, and institutes of higher reputation. Now, as one of the world's prominent publishers, we actively engage communities so that we can talk about what the One Nation, One Subscription is and the emerging topics of relevance today. How do we do that? We increase visibility, we make content discoverable, we provide hands-on sessions and live workshops through quizzes, smart research techniques, and value-added services. We also carry out topical sessions on topics relevant for the research community, such as topics on research integrity, AI in scientific writing, and research metrics. We collaborate to increase visibility. And last but not the least, there are also several strategic initiatives that we carry out, the most important of which is the India Research Bus Tour that is going on right now. This is the calendar for the events that have already happened and that are going to happen, which you can take a picture of. They're completely free of cost. They provide trainings in some of the emerging topics that I just mentioned, and also how you can navigate the Springer Nature platform as a user, as well as understand the various implications of One Nation, One Subscription. These are the user engagements that we have had so far. As you can see that the most eminent institutions of the country access these community engagements. When it comes to article publishing in India across publishers, we take the top 5 publishers, which includes Elsevier, Springer Nature, Wolters Kluwer, Taylor & Francis, and Wiley. There has been a consistent increase in the number of articles published by Indian authors with a CAGR of 11%. When it comes to just Springer Nature, there again has been a very consistent increase with a CAGR of 14.5%, which is almost 3% more than the top 5 publishers combined. As research scholars, since there's a 150 crore per year central fund for APC, for supporting APCs of good quality journals, you can actually ponder upon these questions because this is a scheme that is dedicated for you. Going beyond rankings, since journal rankings are not always static, we should go beyond Q1 and Q2 journals and focus on Q3 and Q4 journals. They actually develop and sustain some of the most emerging disciplines. So what is our open access strategy in India? We have organized multiple targeted distribution channels such as the Marketing Intelligence Panel, marketing lists, and site intercepts on our websites so that we can recruit a representative sample of India-based researchers. We have also outsourced an online survey to DJS Research, which is for India-based journal authors so that we can collect additional data. Why did we do that? So that we can identify barriers that exist to gold open access in India. We can identify the various sources of APC funding and also understand what can be the optimal pricing for APCs so that there is maximum uptake of gold open access in India. The Springer Nature Fully Open Access Agreement includes all fully open access articles publishing. The duration is for 1 year and multi-year. All eligible fully open access journals of Springer Nature come under this. The APC coverage is centralized on institutional level, and there are discounts on listed pricing of respected article processing charges. As you can see, the monthly performance before and signing of fully open access articles includes more than 7 times growth. And last, but most important, why does open access matters? It matters 3 ways: for authors, institutions, and society. Authors, because publishing in open access increases your visibility and the usage of your work. There's more than 1.5 times more citations when it comes to articles and more than 2 times times more citations when it comes to books. For libraries and institutions, open access articles and books have higher downloads when compared to non-open access articles and books. Like for instance, there's 10 times more downloads when it comes to open access books. For society and science, since research is open for all, it helps to tackle societal challenge. For instance, 57% of journal articles related to the Sustainable Development Goals have been published in open access. Thank you so much and have a good day.
Thank you, Bikoshita, for your insightful and informative session on ONOS. Next, we bring to you the e-book awareness session conducted by Mr. Devraj Mehta, Licensing Manager, Institutional Sales, Springer Nature, India.
Hello. Good morning, everybody. Um, this is a kind of session that normally whenever we go and want to talk on ebooks, the institute says that it is always better to talk about the journal. Book will be less prioritized. So let me try to reframe this session as the Springer Nature one of the most important and essential academic content available in the form of books. I'm not going into all the details of what PPT is saying. Rather, it would be my pleasure if I want to hear from you. Springer Nature is a leading academic book publisher across all publishers. We digitized almost all our content. In fact, we have the first book, and we have mapped our Springer ebooks in different way from 2005 till 2025 as contemporary book, and we also digitized all the content prior to 1900, and we call it Springer Book Archive, where all the old classic Springer book has been embedded together to form the book archive. Now, why Springer Nature ebooks is important for the institution and important for the Springer Nature as a company? We believe to provide the content. Again, it is in the form of books. We have different kind of resource for different kind of user in the institute, starting from the undergraduate students to high-end research professor. We have very high quality research monograph. We have book series. For example, Indian Statistical Institute has a huge demand of Springer Nature lecture notes in computer science, which is again a very flagship product of Springer Nature, where we keep on publishing around 600 volumes, 600 number of titles each and every year. Then we have handbooks, we have proceedings. Again, these proceedings are first published in Springer Nature. They are rigorously quality checked and around more than 80% rejection in whenever you want to publish our conference proceedings. These all are book type embedded together to form Springer Nature ebooks. This is our portfolio. Our intention to not only provide the better quality and highest quantity content, but we want to collaborate with you. How? Whenever we are providing books as a resource, we want that it has to be utilized properly. For providing the better utilization, we need to work with the library. We need to analyze what kind of books are required at your institute. Because end of the day, if there is the usage, there will be very less return on investment, and both of us cannot justify each other. So for providing that, the content Springer Nature ebooks is available in completely DRM free. There is no digital right management. N number of people can access the same thing at the same time. Not only that, you are legalized to download, you are legalized to print, and you are legalized to share as long as you are utilizing this resource for the academic purpose. We have digitized more than 3 lakhs books. We keep on publishing around 12,000 ebooks each and every year. In English language, it will be around 10,000. Springer Nature ebooks is downloaded around 9,000 times in the first year of publication. This is an average data and the citation. We are the first publisher who, before 3 years, introduced a parameter, book matrix. We cannot call impact factor of books. But how do we justify that this is a good book? The most closest parameter is the citation. There is no proper trustable data in earlier decade to justify the citation. Now we have come out with the citation of ebooks, and I'm proudly mentioning Springer Nature ebooks has the highest citation comparing all publisher together. Again, the same thing. We have different kind of books for the different user community of an institute. This is the way our author globally has been associated with us in last 20 years. You can see through the graph that eventually we keep on developing from 3,000 to 10,000 titles per year. It is a India-specific data. Whenever we have analyzed the usage of India, our ebook collection, in India, we have seen there is a good usage of engineering, computer science, medicine, math stat, intelligent technology, and robotics. For the user community, I am thankful, rather we are thankful from Springer Nature because of the very good usage of you are subscribing Springer Nature Mathematics and Statistics ebooks, around 1,25,000 download in 2025 from January to November. This is a very good usage. Thank you, library madam, and thank you all the user for the brilliant use of only one package out of 24 Springer Nature ebook package. Now, there is a good demand of computer science also, which is available in the form of lecture notes in computer science. In fact, all our major book series, be it lecture notes in computer science, be it lecture notes in mathematics, all are embedded in our respective ebook packages. This is again top 10 ebook package in India. Engineering, because we have kept engineering as a mother subject, which are comprising of mechanical, electrical, electronics, civil, production, all branch of engineering. However, from 2025, we have segregated mechanical engineering as the standalone product or standalone ebook package. This is the model. It will be perhaps useful for the library professional. It is not like that Springer Nature has been providing a one particular business model. We want to collaborate with the institute in terms of providing ample of different business model best suitable for your institute. We have, just for a glimpse, we have collection model, we have access and select model, which is evidence-based. We have launched a new model for India, that is, we journalize the concept of ebooks. Why we subscribe journal? When we subscribe journal? We subscribe journal because we get the current year content and the back year content in access only mode. The same thing we have implemented for India as a pilot. In case institute is wanting to subscribe the frontier collection, that is 2025, institute will get back volume complimentary for 12 months as access only mode. And it has completely changing the mindset of the people. So whenever you are investing, you are getting huge title and all are available in DRM free. When Springer merged with Nature, initially Springer has one social science related collection, humanities and social science collection. After merging with Palgrave, we have categorically 10 other humanity and social science collection in Springer Nature Kitty. Nursing and operation research, we have launched AI in 2025, and in 2020, from 2026, we are launching 2 new ebook collection, nursing and operational research. This is the number of peer reviewed title against each of the subject collection. Like lecture notes in computer science, which is available as a standalone product, we have another 15 book series across different subjects, like lecture notes in electrical engineering, lecture notes in mechanical engineering, lecture notes in civil engineering. All these lecture notes are important, and all these lecture notes are available in a journalized format. Whenever you are accepting, or whenever you are getting the current year content, you are getting the back year complementary for your academic and research purpose. And one of the most important thing, that Springer Nature has the highest SDG content. Again, our ebooks are in the form of content, and it is for the institutional benefit, which caters to all the different kind of user of an institute. This is in brief. That's all my side. In case you have any question, I would be pleased to answer. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Debraj, for shedding light on how growing importance of ebooks empower research and learning across disciplines. We now move to an exciting and highly anticipated session, the RISE Masterclass, led by Mr. Prateek Dongre, Head of Research Cross Journals team.
No, I can do this with this one, yeah. Hello, everyone. Good morning. So what I'm going to talk about is a little bit different than talking about journals, what they are, open access, the policies, and all of that matter. Today, what I'm going to talk about is more about what to look for, actually, some of the things that you should look for practically when you're going to write your thesis, or you're going to submit your work, or something that you should watch out even in the usual practices that you apply when you're doing research. So is there something missing? I guess one of the slides is missing from here. Okay. Anyway, so to introduce myself, a little bit of self-promotion. I am Prateek Dongre. I am the head of the Research Cross Journal team. I'm based in Heidelberg, Germany, and I came here for the research tour. So I really am excited to talk to all of you today and give you a little bit of an introduction about the research integrity. And before I start, I want to give two disclaimers. Number one is that this is a RISE Masterclass. That means it's probably a very, very long talk, and I try to condense it in 10 minutes. So I do apologize if I run through something very fast, or if something is a little bit unclear to you, but I do welcome any questions afterwards if you want to ask. Second is that I am not a research integrity expert, but I have been an editor and a chief editor at Nature Communications before. So it's something that we see on daily basis, the problems related to research integrity, something that we live and breathe. So I have a lot of experience with this. So I think I am in the capacity to talk about this a little bit more. When we think about research integrity, there are only, and if you want to sum it up, maybe 4 things that come to your mind. Research integrity is, to me, it's all about being honest, being honest, being honest, and being honest. And then there are some other things that you kind of combine with it, which is, accountability of what you're putting up. You should know what you are putting up in your thesis, in your paper. So being accountable for something, what you're presenting, you must read and approve very carefully. You should know what you're putting into your report. And, of course, doing research in very good faith. It's very important. And that's what we can say, good stewardship. Sometimes some things we miss, they may be not intentional, and something that we can explain later. And I think that's what we call good faith. That's something, a mistake has been made, but it was in good faith, it was not intentional. So we're all humans, so we understand this. So these are the things that, gives you a little bit of a leeway when you talk about research integrity. So whether research integrity is governed by a Singapore statement, basically, it was a gathering in 2010, sorry, where the researchers have decided that we need to emphasize the research integrity, and we need to put pressure on the governments, people like us, the publishers, the funders, the policymakers, and everybody, right? So they met and they decided that this is something that is going to be an important statement that would govern the research integrity. So a lot of it is more formalized in this statement. The other way of looking at research integrity, and it's just a very, very basic idea in life, which is, would it get me in trouble? So that's something that we also ask ourselves in daily life. Out of research also, we tell our kids also, it's like, you're going to eat a lot of chocolates, you probably ruin your teeth. So something similar, very basic concepts, like if I have taken something from somewhere, or if I've been dishonest about something, is that going to make me uncomfortable if it were to become public? And if you answer this very honestly and say, okay, it will, then it's probably not the right thing to do. So don't do it. That's the rule of thumb pretty much for the research integrity. The other major part of research integrity, and I appreciate it may not be very relevant to this group of people here because we talk about human and animal research, something that anybody who wants to start with human or animal samples, they need an approval before even starting. I think what may be applicable here is that if you're trying to collect like data statistic related to human populations or a social science experiment or something, even for that, you need permission that you're going to publish data about human beings somewhere. So it's very important that those ethics are considered very carefully, because any mainstream, trustable, reputed journal would want those upfront when you go on publish your research. And the human and animal research data is governed by the Declaration of Helsinki. So I'm not going to go too much into detail with this because that's just really redundant here, and something, if you want to have a look, please have a, Google it and find what Declaration of Helsinki is. But again, to really, really condensed version is that we need approval for any human or animal related experiments even before we begin. Plagiarism and duplicate publication is something that is more common than we think. It's also, I would say, something of a less severe, but it is still a misconduct. For example, when I did my PhD, that was about, 10 or 15 years ago, maybe roughly, there was no formal course that could teach us about plagiarism. And I was told yesterday that UGC has launched a course now that must be included to tell students about plagiarism and what plagiarism is. And I think it's a very welcome move, because plagiarism is something where you not only copy the text, but if you copy ideas, concept, all of it is constitute as plagiarism. So everything that you present should be original. It should come from you. One of the other plagiarism type that is being ignored, or a lot of people ignore it, is self-plagiarism or text recycling. For example, a lot of people think that, oh, I just wrote it in myself in my thesis, so I've just copied the paragraph back into my research paper. And you can think it's fine because these are your own words, but that is self-plagiarism. That means you should not repeat the same words. You have to present new idea. So be careful with that as well, and sort of text recycling. If you intend to take something from somewhere else, you can put that in quotes and acknowledge and put a reference somewhere, so you can make it very clear that this wasn't from you, but it has been taken from somewhere else. Proper acknowledgement is required, because just think about it. If somebody else were to take your words and ideas and present it as theirs, you would also not feel good about it. So something as a community, everybody has to think about. It means you means I don't mean to say that you all are taking words from your colleagues. Images and data are another key elements, be it statistical data, be it analysis, be it economical, surveys and things like this. Everything should be acknowledged properly. And the other thing to watch out for is that to present your figures as they are, and not how you like them. For example, sometimes people try to beautify the figures, and that's fine as long as it doesn't alter the figure and its meaning too much. That said, we have to always keep the original data in there and not try to declutter it, because it might just give a completely different result, different claim, different outcome, particularly in the fields like physical sciences, life sciences, even in statistics as well. And I'm no expert of statistics, but I'm pretty sure that if somebody was to change some acquired data in a figure, it would change the claims, it would make the results look different. So here's what pretty much what summarizes what I said, don't add or move things, don't make the data look nicer, just for the sake of it by changing the meaning, don't combine images. So I give you a little example here, that where one of the paper where, there's a straight line, just they want to fit it to a straight line, and to make that fit, force that fit, and get a good, R square or something, they removed some data. So in general, it looks on paper is fine, but then the referees doubt about it. And then they find out that in the middle or on the top, there were some data points missing, and that would just really mess up the result. So the authors removed the data, and the referees find out, and it didn't end well. And a lot of these things do not end well. The other theme is AI. I think AI is in itself is a big 1 hour, 2 hour, 5 hour workshop. It's something that we're getting used to it. Everybody is getting used to it. A lot of us, we're using it. So when we're using it for our work, we have to be a bit careful about it. Some of the things that we need to watch out for is, for a research paper particularly, we can't take concepts from AI. At Springer Nature journals, and I am pretty sure at many or all the trusted journals, they are not allowed, AI is not allowed as a co-author. The guidance related to AI is updated quite regularly, because we're just learning as it comes. Like every time this new tool comes in, and we have to update our guidance. So what you can do and what is allowed is, it's possible, of course, to use it to correct the language, get some help with the language. We're all non-native English speakers, so some help with language is of course very welcome, but we cannot generate figures from AI. We cannot create concepts from AI. And so far, sadly, there is no tool in the world that can detect that a text is or paper pretty much written by AI. It's like, hey, AI, write me a paper on, I don't know, statistical analysis of X, Y, and Z pollution in Delhi, right? And AI will still write you a paper. So the text we cannot catch, but there are some pointers very clearly that are written by AI that we can find. Like AI writes a lot of flowery language, lots of paragraph changes, lots of punctuations, lots of em dashes. So we can tell that way. But of course, we cannot tell 100% that this is certainly written by AI. But it's very important that, the ideas, again, are original and not really driven by AI. So fair use of AI is very important. AIs are also, I think, biased in their assessments, something that also we have to watch out for. Sometimes there are gender biases, sometimes there are racial biases, because they just spits out information that's just how it is trained, pretty much. So be careful that you do, even in daily life, not take it as it is, as a universal truth, what AI is saying. I saw a meme yesterday on social media that AI was asking, like, this colorful mushroom, can I eat this? And AI say, yeah, you can eat it. The guy eats it and he dies. And then AI comes to him and asks, would you like to know more about this mushroom now? But the time has passed. Right. So the other conflict that can come up is authorship disputes. This happens a lot. Again, one of the things that is less of a severe than something like, creating fake data or something, but authorship disputes are more common than we think. I think it's important that the team discusses within themselves, and everybody who has made a substantial contribution should be included as an author, but anybody who has kind of helped with the paper could go in acknowledgement as well, depending on the team's discussion. So at Springer Nature, we encourage authors to discuss the authorship disputes within themselves, because we have no authority to go on and kind of educate and try to investigate. We don't have access to the material, the lab reports and lab notes. So we ask authors to solve the authorship disputes. And that's why it's very important to have a very clear and honest communication with your team before you going to submit a contribution somewhere. Our journals, especially the nature journals, they allow, the authors are required to write authorship contributions in the end of the paper, so which is pretty clear who's done what. Please do declare any conflict of interest. Conflict of interest, for example, if you're also involved as a stakeholder in a company or a private equity or a church or a temple or anywhere, just please do declare that in the end of your paper to clarify to the community that you don't have any stake in it, or you do have a stake in it. That's also very important. Citations are another something that we see very regularly, that people cite papers that are not relevant even in the story, just to make a point or force an issue because they do not have a data or proper analysis. So they just go on and put a citation for that, like a scientific precedence. And when we go on and look at the paper, and that paper actually doesn't even talk about it. So sometimes it flies if somebody is very lucky or but most of the time it does not. Referees catch it, we catch it in the end. And it just kind of creates a trust issue, leaves a bad taste, and again, the dishonesty that kind of troubles everybody. So these are the kind of examples of inappropriate citations where things are omitted, just to make things look better or fit your narrative. Excessive self-citations, cut and paste. If a referee tells you that you need to cite like 5 or 10 of my papers, and if you don't agree with it, then you please do talk to the editor that, I don't think these are relevant. But I highly doubt that all of the time that they are relevant, but they could be relevant. It's something that you will have to be the judge of. But there is, of course, you can voice your concern if you don't agree with a referee who asks you to cite a number of papers from their own lab, of course, particularly. If they say cite 10 papers from 10 different labs, that's less suspicious. But if they say like, oh, look, I'm the big guy, you need to cite my papers, that raise a little bit of doubt. Don't cite anything that you haven't read. There are a couple of things as I'm going to talk about. I'm going to combine them in the interest of time. One of them is the predatory journals, and the others are paper mills. These are two different things. So paper mills are something where some people just kind of approach you and say, you know what, you pay me 5,000 euros and I give you the authorship of a nice shiny paper, or I pay you this money and then you can review that in paper, and then you give very good, nice, again, shiny referee comments for this paper, so it can just pass through, or we'll publish your paper in that special issue or that special issue. And it does happen, in many incidences where somebody says, oh, Nature Microbiology is launching a special issue, and if you pay me 6,000 euros, I'll get your paper into that. So it does not work. These are the paper mills, and they try to take advantage of authors because of the competition in academia for funding, scholarships, a lot of pressure, right? So a lot of people give in. So please don't fall for that. If you smell any of this being fishy, direct money transaction is always a big no. So if anybody tries to do that, please talk to somebody and have a double check about that. What this could be. Because the journals don't ask directly money from you. Journals, I mean to say the trusted and reputed journals, they will not ask you money directly. And then talking about the predatory journals, the way they work is they may not ask you money directly, but what they will say, oh, you know what, I'll get your paper accepted in 15 days. I don't know there will be a peer review process or not. The papers move fast. There will be a number of different special issues coming out. all of the papers look like a very, very poor quality. There may not be even data analysis, or they're copied from somewhere, and these journals have very questionable editorial boards. And you try to find their editorial board, you cannot find anybody. And there are many, many journals like those. So be also very, very careful about it. I think the best idea is to publish in a journal that you and your peers, you read regularly. It's like something that gives you knowledge, something that you read and then it's like, wow, okay, this is neat work. I really like it. So that journal is something probably you can trust and then you can go with. So this is just a graph of how these paper mills, the number of papers being retracted just because of these paper mills, because somebody sold an authorship to somebody, and then in the end, the paper end up, being retracted. So I did notice that the room is full of statisticians. So every time there is a graph or some kind of number, everybody sort of wakes up and start looking at it. I wish I had more data somewhere so it could be a bit more engaging, but I appreciate there's a lot of text here. So staying up to date about the policies is by attending the talks like this or going to the journal's websites. Most of the time, the top journals or reputed journals, they will have a really good amount of ample guidance for you on research integrity and the issues related to those resources and things like this. The last point I would make is that, think about how research evolves. Research is always incremental. There has never been a research where there's one paper published out of the blue, bang, and then done, right? So it's not always about H indexes or Stanford, I don't know, 2%, 3%. I read so much on LinkedIn and stuff like this. Don't obsess about those things. Good research always get credit. Doesn't matter where it is published, even if it's incremental, even if it's not selective, but specialist. It's always important that you keep that in mind. The scientific community keep that in mind. That's how I think science grows as well. So with that, I thank you all for your attention and listening to me. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Prateek, for that captivating and informative masterclass on enhancing research visibility, impact, and collaboration. We now open the floor for an engaging panel discussion on open access publishing landscape. The panel will be joined by Mr. Venkatesh Sarvasiddhi, Managing Director, Springer Nature India, Professor Debashish Sen Gupta, Applied Statistics Unit, ASU, ISI Kolkata, Professor Joydeep Sarkar, Statistics and Mathematics Unit, Professor Utpal Garen, Computer Vision and Pattern Recognition Unit, and the panel discussion will be moderated by Ms. Riya Rajpal, Manager Outreach and Advocacy, Springer Nature India.
Good afternoon, everyone. Today, we are here to discuss on a very interesting topic these days, which is open access. I'm sure all of you, we have researchers here, and we also have young faculty here. This panel would actually discuss on the viewpoints of leadership, both from the institution and Springer Nature, on what open access is and what are the problems associated. India produces almost 2 lakh papers annually, and a major portion of it is in open access. Now, the government is doing programs such as ONOS and National Digital Library to make research more accessible. But along with it, there are more challenges. And I have Professor Utpal sitting next to me. So, sir, I'll take the liberty to start from you first. I want to understand your viewpoint on open access research ecosystem. And what is the institution looking at? Is there a mandate for students to publish? And what are the incentives? Any rough idea about your open access ecosystem? Yeah. We'll start with you, sir, and then we'll move to Dr. Cho.
Good afternoon, everyone. Regarding open access, so now because of ONOS, now we are in an advantageous position because earlier this payment of APC article pricing charges that was not very smooth for us because we didn't have till now we don't have option for paying APC. So that put us, I mean, researchers as well as PhD scholars in a difficult position. Always there are waivers schemes. So I think with UNOS now researchers like us and students, they will have, nice options, opportunities to publish in top tier journals. Right, but I think that researchers and students, always scholars, they target for high impact journals, right? Now, if it happens that most of the high impact journals they ask for APC, definitely that will put scholars like in India and many other countries in difficult situation. With ONOS, I think very recently, we received email from our chief librarian that ISI is participating in ONOS and many that covers many good journals in different areas. So I think that's a very nice update for us. One more thing, probably we can discuss later in this panel discussion, that I belong to computer science, more specifically AIML. Now, journal publication in AIML, because that has created a divide even in India among the researchers, because whenever the selection committee members are looking for good biodaters or resumes, there is a difference between AIML field and the other fields of science and engineering, right? In computer science, you can find that even especially in AIML, good researchers are not targeting journals right now, right? So because there are very high impact conferences, and then even this scenario is also affecting scholars, right? But if you think that, these are conference papers, so that kind of, the trend, maybe it was there 10 years before, but now it is completely changed for AIML. Because sometimes journals are taking long time, and AIML, the state of the art is changing every day. A good research scholars, they want to publish as soon as possible. And that's why I think conferences have become very viable platforms vis-a-vis journals. So this is one aspect that should be completely, we have to see in a different way for AIML researchers and some other fields which are changing rapidly. And second thing, I think Springers are also aware of this, that relevance of publishing these 10, 12 pages papers, right? So it's not the attention deficiency among the school children. Attention deficiency we are also suffering from, and even scholars are, right? Now, instead of these old-fashioned 10, 12-page journal papers, can we think of some alternatives like video short? Because in a research paper, what do we look for? I mean, what is the research statement? What is the background, and what is the methodological contribution, and what is the take-home message in terms of results, right? And what is the conclusion? Now, so instead of writing 10, 12 page paper, can we have 8 to 10 minutes video? And that's why you have seen that some of the ASTAT conferences nowadays, they are putting more emphasis on putting a video for your research. So maybe we can have a discussion in that line also. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. I will, in the end, maybe compile all the questions, and I just want to hear the viewpoint of Professor Joydeep also on his view on open access research ecosystem.
Thank you. So it's very clear that open access is here to stay. I think the internet era started more or less in 1990, and in 2000 in Budapest, so there was a seminar where the idea of open access came out, and now here we are. So open access, there are, okay, I was just trying to learn how it is. So initially my idea was that I'll write a paper and submit in a journal, and that journal will make it free. Well, I mean, so that's open access so that people can easily see and read. But that's not the case. So there is a business model in between, and business model not necessarily bad. For instance, I can tell you, if you look at the archive, so in mathematics, there is a portal called archive. We write paper, and before peer reviewing, we submit there, it stays there. It's completely free. However, Stanford puts money in it, as well as Simon Foundation also gives money. So in other words, so in this kind of situation, this model, even it's free, but not completely free. So there is a business barrier, or the money wall comes in between the reader and the contributor. So in a sense, open access is not completely open, so you have to pay. Now, the question is who pays? So here, well, if you have research grant, you pay from your grant. Or if you have any kind of system, you fall into an institution system or university system, they pay for it. But there is a drawback. I mean, those researcher who doesn't have any research funding, and he or she gets some good result, good paper, then where he or she goes. So that's one doubt. Another concern which need to be fixed is that I think the previous speaker was trying to point out that even we all do research, but there are some concerns like impact factor, like journals, where you submit the paper and you never know whether that journal is really good or bad. Even we quantify a journal by impact factor, but we all know sometimes it's not the right way to do. And we haven't done anything. So how many papers get published? How many papers get cited? Impact factor. These are one way of parameter, but there is another way to judge a journal is good or bad. So that's something I hope this open access bring some light. This third way of computing or understanding journals' impact. So these are the things, but as I said, open access is here to stay, and we really have to work out on this thing, and how we do that's future is looking for. Thank you.
Professor Joydeep, you've touched on the pain point of open access, I would say. And I would request our managing director to answer to all the questions. But before I move on to you, sir, I have Professor Debashish here. I would like to hear your views on open access.
Good afternoon, everyone. So I would like to add to some of the things that have been said by the previous panelists. I work in statistics. Many of my problems, research problems, have been motivated by actual applications. And it is in this area that there is a possibility that this the business model that was being talked about can come in the way. it's one thing to say that some researchers may not have research grants to pay for their for their publications, but it's another to say that there are opportunities for funding, and that can go to the extent that only those research which will have funding will have preference over publication in an open access medium. And that is very much true in applied areas where there are agencies that are willing to get particular types of research funded. And then the whole thing puts a kind of constraint on what gets researched, what would be the field of research. And if you are not watchful about that, then the easy path will be conduct your research in the area where you can get funding. So that I'm sure that that is not a happy thing to happen, but the logic of open access and a particular mode of particular business model for enabling that can lead to that sort of difficulty. Another aspect is that open access is somewhat new. There are ways of countering that, like ONOS that was been talked about. We still have to see how much is the reach of ONOS. I'm sure that it's very exciting to think that people in every corner of the country will be having access to all sorts of journals, but probably that's not going to happen. The coverage, there will be some limitations. We have difficulty in various digital infrastructure in different parts of the country. To what extent we'll be able to use this? To what extent it will be accessible to the larger community of researchers? That remains to be seen. So given that setup, given that limitation, we'll have to see how we are able to respond to these challenges and what future holds for us.
Yes, now I would like to hear our managing director's thought after listening to the leaders from ISI discussing and touching on various topics of open access.
Sure. I think it was lovely to hear different thoughts, both pros and cons. As of course, open access has both pros and cons in the current ecosystem, but one thing I would like to clarify is that the fundamental shift which is happening and why there's a current of state of little uncertainty and little turbulence in the open access space, as rightly pointed by all three of them. So earlier it was on a pure subscription model. That means the institutions and the libraries will pay for the access, and there's a cost which has been associated with that. And authors have nothing to pay. It's free of cost. So it's more of an ecosystem wherein the authors would certainly have no restriction in terms of publishing or submitting their papers. But the price was paid by the librarians, So for example, your librarian would know the cost of running the show for getting access to all the relevant journals is concerned. So of course, all these publishing companies, not only Springer Nature, Elsevier, Wiley, TNF, IEEE, all of them are for-profit organizations. Doesn't mean that they're operating on 40%, 50% margins. They operate on a wafer-thin margin of less than 7-8% in many of the cases. Because these are not just, I'm saying, because these are listed companies, and if you get into the listings and look into their annual reports, you can look into. Now, since the issue of open access now coming into that, the funders have an opinion that when they're funding, they want the research to be open to all. So to give access to all, why it emerged? Number one, so digitization. Of course, there's a lot of devices which are available. India itself has close to 700 million smartphones. And so as connected devices across the world is increasing, so they feel that open access is a way to give access to everyone freely who can access, which is good side. Now, the flip side is, since, the model is changed, now the author has to pay a price. And that price is maybe 1,000 to 2,000 to 3,000. It's not a small amount. So many countries in the world who are accelerating their open access model have transformative agreements. Many of them in Europe, couple of them at a university level, couple of them at an national level. So whether if you look into China, which is now producer of the largest research from an output is concerned, numbers, and then USA followed by India. India numbers are close to around 4 lakh articles we produce. China produces around 11 lakhs plus, and USA produces around 5 lakh or 5.5 lakhs plus articles. Now, keeping that in mind, India has a large output when it compared to the output of the research. Of course, citations, patents, mentions, those are, of course, India still has a lot of room to improve. Given the model is fully subscription-based model in India, out of that 4 lakh papers, majority of them are subscription articles. The transformation, since it's happening to open access, a lot of institutions face an issue. So the government took a lot of time. In fact, I wish there was a policy framework or a body to study this 4 years back, 3 years back. It was delayed. But however, the good news is under the One Nation, One Subscription, they are now making 150 crores available for the APCs, which was not available earlier, to all the educational institutions which are government-centric, not the private ones, because it takes a lot of money also to invest in APC from a government. But the government has taken one step of giving access to all the institutions, so close to 6,400 institutions, which are government-centric, whether they are state universities, central, IITs, IIMs, or any institution of relevance, including your ISI, has an access through One Nation, One Subscription, which is close to 13,000 journals are available free of cost. And they are also estimating an impact of 1.8 crore students in research ecosystem who will be benefited. Now, my people can say, of course, it's a great scheme, but we need to also see how much is really downloaded, which all other institutions are downloading. It's not necessary that all the 6,400 institutions do research. A couple of them are still struggling with basic infrastructures and others, and a couple of them have more focus towards, filling up faculty roles, making sure courses are delivered. A couple of them are focused around providing jobs for the students. Not every institution is a research institution. Now, maybe the government will see the usage, and then they may increase the APC content percentage to giving access to all. Maybe they can do those things. But currently, Global South, certainly as rightly said by the professors, have a challenge because some of the people even pay those $2,000 from their pocket or $1,000, which is not a small thing, which is a very big thing. And most of the journals across the world are flipping their models to open access. So for example, you want to publish something extremely good and that journal is an open access journal. You feel that your work deserves a mention there in that particular journal. So you ask for waivers, you get 50% waivers also. Then also $1,000 is not a small amount. So is waivers the answer for it? No. It's like a symptom. For example, you have a headache and you take Disprin every day, doesn't mean that your health is fine. There is something, a root cause problem, right? So we waive, we give a lot of waivers. In a last year, we would have last 2 years or so continuously, we have been giving waivers. But eventually, all the publishing companies are reducing waivers. If some of you would have seen earlier to now, there's a change in the model. With APC now being provided by the government, 150 crore, especially for top institutions who want to publish, I think that the challenge would be reduced to some extent. For example, the professors or researchers at ISA can directly publish in journal of their choice and the APC will be paid by the government, which is a good thing. Now, making sure that the read and write components is adjusted will take time because India also has to evaluate how many of them really require access, how many of them are using access. For example, out of 6,400 institutions, there are still 1,000 institutions which have not even activated One Nation, One Subscription, which is started in January. So there's also a challenge of creating awareness, or they may not find a need because they're not focusing on publishing research. So these challenges exist, but one thing is that India is a very large country. We can't compare ourselves with any of the nations in Europe also, because the number of institutions in India are close to 50,000 institutions, which are more than all of Europe put together, right? Our challenges are very, very different from some of these smaller and well-developed countries with higher GDPs. So with that percentage, I think the changeover from a subscription to an open access will take time in India. It's not going to be fixed in a day or two or a year. It will certainly take time. It's like a flight which is taking down, and of course you'll find turbulence because there's a change of atmospheric pressure and your altitude and other things. I think in the similar way, I think certainly there will be some challenges. They may feel that 150 crores is nothing. It's just a drop in the ocean and they get the entire fund exhausted in 2 months. They may find that. Then they may reduce some component of access and may add here. So I think those are the permutations and combinations the government has to do to fix the thing. Yeah, I agree with, hence I agree with all your comments. It's not that somebody is right or somebody is wrong, because you touched upon very nicely and very clearly about the pros and cons both. Yes. And one more thing I want to highlight is we have to look at some, because it's an institution of numbers. You should understand the GDP percentage spent. For example, USA spends around 3.5% of the GDP in higher education research, wherein China spends around 2.65% and we spend 0.67%. And that's not been very actively increasing. So we need to also look at how do we increase that 0.67 at least to some of the nations like to 1 or 1.2 or 1.3 or 1.5. Which is also government is looking at how to allocate funds and relook at it. I think the 6,000 crore on us is one step towards it, I would say, but there would be work that would be done. And I was analyzing very interesting input. So, out of the USA's fund, 77% of what they spend comes from industry. And in China, 74% of research spend comes from industry. In India, that percentage is 34. So there needs to be a lot of participation from industry to fund this particular thing. For example, if industry funds, open access also become equitable, to a major extent. For example, I was talking to Professor Swagatam Das. I don't know whether he's here. He loves the open access model. In fact, he was sharing with me the perception people have that if you pay and publish, think that inferior quality, it's not true. At least for all the leading journals, it's not true. We reject a lot of papers in spite of people ready to pay APC because the peer reviews and all go through very ethical process. However, India has 4,000 journals, which are predatory journals. And there are paper mills. And how many of you have seen messages, emails on your WhatsApp, Facebook and everything, pay 40,000, publishing in 3 days, acceptance in 7 days. And if you pay higher, publishing same day also, and acceptance on the same day, and maybe you pay lower, then you get a backdated paper. These all things happen. And they also write disclaimer, Scopus indexed. With all due respect to Scopus, Scopus is a great indexing platform. But, when the policy of open access is not there, the committee is not there, there are no, precautionary measures taken by the government specifically saying this is a committee, these are the do's, these are the don'ts, and these are the, activities very clearly mentioning. A lot of these regulatory things were missing in the past. So predatory journals had a lot of growth opportunity because they can actually fool people and they can get, and a lot of researchers from good institutions also do fall prey for it. And they try to publish there. And now with the advent of AI, retractions are becoming very high. And of course, when your paper is retracted, you as a researcher and the institution now as part of the NIRF ranking also will have a lot of negative implications, which is not good for the career of researcher first and foremost. So we create awareness as part of this one, this program also to make sure you publish in the right way. Of course, turnaround time is a major issue with most of the journals because finding peer reviewers is an issue because peer reviewers sometimes, don't respond fast because they have too many papers to review. Those challenges are, of course, there. But, this is an, request from all of you to make sure you publish your research in the ethical manner and the ethical way. And of course, with AI, I think the turnaround time is also going to reduce. The reason being, AI can easily map the reviewers who are fast, who are not responding, and who are good and who are taking time and make sure that the lists are verified. So we are using those interfaces. We have a huge development center in Pune where a lot of engineers are working on AI to make sure our turnaround times are faster, quicker, and make sure that the research is good. But the irony is also, if the turnaround time is within a month, some of the people won't appreciate that also. They feel that it's not properly been reviewed. So everything has, as I said, a pros and a cons. So a lot of papers which are very deep in science and discovery in nature, something new research has come up, for example, which publish in Nature, they take a very long, detailed review and get the best people. Finding reviewers is not that easy. We have to get the best people to review those. So hence, journal to journal, it differs depending on what kind of a journal it is. So these are some of the things I wanted to touch upon. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for touching on the important aspects. In fact, you touched on an important point of peer reviewing. I just also want to highlight that Springer Nature is building peer reviewing communities. We have almost 42 communities in place. And we are actively looking for people to join in those communities, especially PhDs, postdocs. Also, we have EBM. So my colleague Anmol Bhatia is here. If she can raise her hand, you can connect with her anytime after the session or during the session to understand how you can be a part of this process.
I think this
So-
is an important thing, Ria. I just want to urge, especially, there are many eminent people in this room, because this institution is one of the finest institutions in India without a doubt, right? I'm not saying because I'm in this institution. So make sure you contribute as an EBM. It will add a lot of value for the country to get the right context, right? So the percentage of EBM, a percentage of Indians representing globally is, less than 5%. I think the more the reviewers are in any subject from India, of course, the better is the context people get when they are looking at, so that the biases, if there are any, will be removed. So that's kind request. A couple of you who are interested, whether you are a researcher, don't worry about you need to be very senior professor. Even sometimes researchers who are pursuing their PhD degrees can also get into these networks of peer reviewers and EBMs. So just nominate your name. Anmol is here, so meet her and express your interest, and she'll share the link with you, all of you.
As we are almost close to the panel, the purpose of this research tour is to maximize the face time with all the researchers and the leadership here. Do we have any questions from the audience that you would like to address to the panelists? Anyone, even researchers? Anyone from the faculty?
I think very interesting question, sir. I think one way to look into this is, so I was listening to a very interesting conversation, which was in Germany. So the future of library, of course, if everything become open access, what is the way to look at library and how library will add in value? There are two ways to look into it. I think in this world, in my opinion, I worked earlier with Microsoft heading the Innovation Center for a decade almost before joining Springer Nature. I don't think access to information and data will be a problem going forward 10 years. You get so much enormous amount of data and access to information, because there's, with a population of 7.4 billion people, we have 60 billion devices. We are capturing data left, right, center, and also a lot of information access is becoming faster, more accessible at a cheaper prices. The problem is getting the context and making sure what actually is valuable information in that screening. I think library will certainly play a role in giving that context and screening the information, what is required for the institution to access. For example, with too many things, we really don't know which data to believe in, which data not to believe in any part of the world, right? For example, with the advent of AI, you see so many reels which are fake, but you really don't know whether they're real or fake. So many news articles which are fake, but you really don't know. I think library certainly will be the knowledge center which will define which journals or which material, which is open access, is actually good to access. That's one. Second, also because you won't use funding, what you have towards accessing journals, because everything will become free, let's say in 10 years, maybe ebooks can also become free at one point in time if this model is perfectly working. Then the library will actually take the research funding which is available and allocate it to different departments for them to publish. That's typically how I look into maybe next 10 years. Certainly, yes, the context, the scope may change, but the context will be very, very relevant. Yes, please, sir.
Well, so in the realm of open access, what will happen to those papers, let's say 30, 40 years old, which is which you still pay. And in the time of open access, what we'll do with that?
I think when journals switch over into open access mode, and if there are papers which are still in the subscription mode, the entire, I think it's the call of the journal and that company organization to see how to move the old papers into the format of open access without, with the model which may include a price, with the model which may not include a price, or they may shift the entire model into open access. I believe eventually they have to shift the entire model into open access, because some of the articles, some of the best journals, or some of the papers which are published 10 years back, 15 years back, should not be left out, because the opportunity for any publisher or any science to progress is making sure information is lost in pockets. I think that's where organizations and and industry and other players will come forward to make sure everything is converted, because of course you can't go back 10 years, 15 years paper back and ask them for a fee to convert. So that's a model they will eventually will shift. Industry also plays a very, very interesting role. I was discussing with Dr. Swagatam, Professor Swagatam, and he was saying that the journal in machine learning, which is an open access journal, because it's heavily funded by, and one of the best journals in the context, is heavily funded by Microsofts and Googles and others of the world. I think I somehow believe if you have a good paper, it will not be lost. It will be published. It's like if you have a good script, the movie will be made one day or the other. It's just about the timing, but it will not be lost for sure. So as of now, we believe for some time subscription and open access will exist together, because it's not just about India. We also need to look into many countries global south. For example, I'll give you a number, you'll be surprised. Out of 3,500 journals roughly we have, around 700, 750 of them are open access. We still have hybrid and the subscription model. So they will continue, because the world will not suddenly shift. It will take a lot of time. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you to all the panelists for taking out the time and being a part of this interesting conversation. I would like to now hand it over to Sadhguru to take the sessions forward. Thank you.
Thank you to our panelists for this insightful exchange of ideas on the evolving landscape of open access publishing. We now proceed to the Book and Journal Award felicitation. For that, I would like to invite Mr. Venkatesh Savasiddhi, Managing Director, Springer Nature India, to felicitate our awardees. First, we have Professor B. Uma Shankar, Department of Machine Intelligence Unit. Professor Tapan Chakrabarti, Department of Geological Studies.
Can you come, sir? Can somebody collect it?
Okay, so I'm receiving it on his screen.
Professor Bhabatosh Chanda, Department of Electronics and Communication Sciences. The very next we have journal awards. For that, I would also like to invite Mr. Anant Mishra to join us on stage to felicitate our awardees. So first we have Professor Swagatam Das, Department of Electronics and Communication Sciences. Professor Ravi Ranjan Chattopadhyay, Department of Agricultural and Ecological Research. Professor Dibakar Ghosh, Department of Physics and Applied Mathematics. Congratulations to all our awardees for your outstanding contribution to scholarly excellence and innovation. To conclude today's event, may I now invite Professor Biswa Brata Pradhan, Dean of Studies, ISI Kolkata, for the closing note.
Thank you. Good afternoon. So this is this Springer Nature India Research Tour 2025. This is really a innovative idea, I would say. And this is in collaboration with ICSSR and Ministry of Education. There are discussions on many issues like this research integrity, human and animal research, plagiarism and duplicate certificate. Then, of course, this open access research ecosystem. Now, this is really a great opportunity to have discussion or interaction with the publisher. So we got that opportunity. That's really we are. This idea is really great. I would just mention a few things. That is regarding this retraction of journal papers. Nowadays, we find that many papers have been retracted. So this issue actually, why these journal papers are really retracted, that issue need to be discussed. That we must be knowledgeable about it. I think Springer Nature can highlight certain issues, not now. What are the reasons for this retraction? Because that is one issue. We found that based on that paper, actually, all these things, maybe that PhD thesis has been accepted. Finally, I would say based on those papers, maybe we got promotion, but then suddenly we found that some papers have been retracted. What's the reason for that? So this issue, I think, I think if we get knowledgeable about those things, so that would be helpful. And regarding this plagiarism and this duplicate certificate, normally we go through this plagiarism check software, like we use, say, Authenticate. There may be many other softwares, but really, which software to use for this plagiarism check? What is acceptable? That we must know. Because the criteria actually, like you see in in India, this UGC has some kind of guidelines for plagiarism check, right? Say like this, say 14 words, something like that. But possibly we are following for our this PhD thesis. But for journal papers, really, what is the that plagiarism, that rule, I would say, maybe. So if we have some idea about it, that would be helpful in that way, right? And whether there is really acceptable software where we can trust actually that, yes, this is what that software to be used for plagiarism check. And this regarding this open access ecosystem, that's a great idea. You see that open access journal, we found that many journals are there. This is open access. Yeah, that way it is helpful. But mostly journals are not, of course, this open access. We have to pay for it. But we have that opportunity in ISI, for example, we have that subscriptions. We get all these papers, maybe very old papers also, that is available to us. But that whatever that, I mean, that trade-off that needs to be decided. But we had a good discussion about it. That also is helpful for us. And I think this is for the first time in ISI, this such program has been organized. But we would be grateful to Springer that if, I mean, over the years, if it is possible to organize such programs more and more, so that it would be really, I mean, helpful, and our researchers, and you see that PhD students, postdoctoral fellows, and researchers, they will be knowledgeable about it. So lastly, I thank all of you for joining this program. Thank you. That's it.
Thank you, sir, for concluding today's program with such thoughtful words. I now invite Mr. Would you like to go?
Sorry to jump in. We just discussed that maybe I can take some of your questions. That's maybe very important. Some of the very, very important and very commonly asked questions. So I thought I can answer. I'm answering them in the capacity of somebody who works directly with the journals. So my role involves working with the Nature research journals and the Nature, the flagship journal itself. So my team works very directly with those journals, pretty much handling papers on daily basis. So I think there were, if I remember correctly, and please correct me if I'm wrong, and apologize for missing any questions. Number one was about why there are so many retractions, and number two was about using a software for checking the plagiarism and things like this. So the number of retractions is something that the journals don't control. Of course, I hope you appreciate that, all of you. It has to do with the pressure to publish, I think, the publish and perish culture, which has led to a very, very high number of increase in the publication volumes over the years. So that what the paper publish to perish culture does is that it makes people publish faster and more papers. And I can give you an example. Again, when I did my PhD 15 years ago, 3 papers, 4 papers in my field, which is the energy field, was more than enough. Right now, you can say you can see people coming out of their PhD with 10, 15 papers, and they're still not sure what's going to happen. So this manifold increase has put pressure on everybody, including the journals, to keep checking what is being presented to us authentic or not. And what happens in this rat race, if you would, is that many papers then end up being data with some questionable results. Sometimes they're unintentional, where the authors have just misunderstood the story, but they still mislead the community. So it's very important that they are retracted so they don't keep on misleading the community. That's why there is increase in retraction of papers. I think it's important to keep working in the right direction, where we keep our eyes open for anything that looks questionable. And I think there's websites, PubPeers, there are some sloths who are working independently to identify falsification of data, and they do point things out to us very regularly. So there are really good mechanisms as well. The second question about the plagiarism check, I think that in my world, I never used personally never used a software to check my own papers, because I always felt that I wrote them and I don't have to check it if there is a whole paragraph that a journal tells me that this is word by word taken from somewhere, I would be very, very shocked because I wrote it myself. I appreciate that there are some sentences you can only write in a few ways, maybe one or two lines are fine, but whole paragraph coming out word by word is questionable. What we do at Nature Journals, we use Authenticate as a software to check the similarities in the language. But I think this software costs money. I don't know if how much it is or if it's affordable or not, but there's Authenticate, there's Crosscheck. I think Crosscheck is probably a bit cheaper, as that's what I'm told. I just don't know how much they cost. So I think the rule of thumb is just to write it all yourself. Read it, number of iterations, read the paper 2 times, 3 times, give it to your colleagues. And what comes out is probably a version that do not require any sort of checks, but cross-check or Authenticate, if you can afford, is something that we use. And I've published thousands of papers so far, and I've never found that Authenticate has missed things. Was there any other question? Or is there any other question anybody would like me to take? I can talk about journals mostly, not so much about books, I'm sorry. No? Okay, thank you.
Before we missed one session on EVMs, so now we have an exclusive session on in unlocking editorial excellence, empowering editorial board members, presented by Mr. M. Ramanathan, General Manager, Strategy and Outreach.
So I'll not keep you long. So good afternoon, everyone. This session, we'll be covering 3 areas, one on peer reviewers, editorial board members, and also in Springer Nature's trusted AI tool, Nature Research Assistant. How many PhD scholars are here? Few, nice. Faculties? Great. So how many want to contribute to research community back as being editor or a peer reviewers? This session is for you. Thank you. Good to see some hands. Reviewer communities. So reviewer communities are dedicated spaces for researchers with peers and senior academicians enhance their academic profiles. So the goals of peer reviewers are large board reviewers where you are available for handling editors, wide expertise to cover the breadth and depth of your knowledge on certain topics, and allows experience and collaboration. So these are our 42 journals across Springer Nature portfolio, where 42 reviewer communities are there, which you can choose is specifically for the PhD scholars, postdocs, and researchers of any field. So what do you, we understand your time and efforts. So we also give you certain benefits being part of this program, invitation to expert-led events and workshops, complimentary access to trainings materials, which may include the reviewer report, which are in-house, peer reviewer of basics, research integrity, and others, where you'll also receive formal recognition from us for reviewing the articles. If you're interested in becoming a reviewing editor, please scan the QR code. You may fill in the details. Our team would get in touch with you. On EBMs, we'd be covering several open access journals of Springer Nature, BMC series, which some of our colleagues are also presented today on BMC series scientific reports. We are looking for people from BMC series, scientific reports, Discover, and HSS, humanities and social sciences of nature portfolio. Whom are we looking for? We look for PhD or equivalent and have a proven track record of a researcher and regularly publishing in international journals and have published between at least 50 to 70 research articles and have a high H index. We'll also be sharing this with your SPOC, who will further circulate it with all of you. If you're interested, you may sign up for the same. So I told you, we're also introducing Nature Research Assistant, a responsible AI tool focused on research. What does this tool do? It saves time for reading, writing and also understanding of your research papers. You can upload from any publishers. The features which includes all close collaboration with research community and leveraging the most of our trusted brands. So currently it's in the beta version. I may request you to sign up for the same. Any questions? Happy to take. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for sharing your valuable expertise on editorial best practices and high standards in research publishing. I now invite Mr. Venkatesh Sarvasiddhi, Managing Director, Springer Nature India, to kindly felicitate our panelist and speaker from ISI Kolkata. First, we have Professor Debasi Sen Gupta, Applied Statistics Unit, ISI Kolkata. Professor Joydeep Sarkar, Statistics and Mathematics Unit. Oh.
No problem. We are sent.
Professor Utpal Garen, Computer Vision and Pattern Recognition Unit. Professor Biswa Brata Pradhan, Dean of Studies, ISI Kolkata.
Thank you, everyone. I think in spite of your lunch break and also classes, you took time, being here. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you all.
We would like to take a moment to express our heartfelt gratitude to Professor Swagatam Das for his unwavering support and guidance, which played an integral role in the success of today's event. We also extend our sincere appreciation to the library team of ISI Kolkata for their valuable assistance and cooperation throughout the program. May I now request everyone to please rise for the national anthem. Thank you all for being a wonderful audience. On behalf of Springer Nature India and ISI Kolkata, we wish you continued success in your academic and research journey.